continuing here. So yeah, you got all these mini elitists that think, well, they're making twice minimum wage and that they're doing good. They're socking more away in their 401k, so they're smarter than somebody else, and their job is more deserving. Though less important functionally, they're less productive in what they do. But this goes on and on. You see how the problems persist and how they get us at each other's throats, blaming each other and not caring about each other, and it's somebody else's problem. So, anyhow, folks, just understand that we're never going to fix the problem socially, politically, economically speaking by being short sighted, narrow minded, small minded ignoramuses. Okay, and that's what I'm seeing here. And, this has been going on so long that, I'm just afraid for humanity. I'm afraid for, where the buck stops because they keep kicking the can down the road and they keep pushing the envelope. And of course, guys like George Soros want you to believe that socialism can work. But look at it. Just look at empirically speaking, all around the world, every time, even in, the great USSR, okay, Russia, fallen. I mean, it doesn't work. Look, if it worked, then I would say, okay, there's some virtue in there, and take from the haves, give to the have-nots. It makes sense, and logic. It's logical, right? To redistribute the wealth, to take from the house, it just would make sense. The Robin Hood thing, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work unless you're going to get rid of all the attorneys out there and say, well, stop protecting the rich. And then it just gets really violent and mean. And so the rich people just start hiring their own private security firms. And Alex Jones just hired hitmen, these guys from Z, to protect his office and his household. So it's getting serious. It's getting weird out there, and that's what guys like George Soros would like. They would like to totally destabilize the country and bring in martial law and assassinate Trump, impeach Trump, just get rid of him because he's anti-establishment. He's trying to help America and turn the ship around, this ship of fools careening to destruction. He believes in prosperity as a path to freedom and security for the people of America, and he cares about the people of America and around the world. He knows the best thing we can do for the people around the world is to set a good example. And these are things I believe too. And if you see straight, you'll understand that's true. This is the best thing we can do for people around the world. We got to help them. Why aren't we sending aid packages and convoys down to these Latin American countries where they're having all these problems, roving gangs, taking people's stuff and intimidating people? I mean, we didn't have, in the Middle East, did you see people leaving because of this going on? In Iraq, did you see any of this going on? No, it only happened after we invade. But yet we're waiting, we're seeing all this havoc being wreaked on these people in these Latin America, and we're not lifting a damn finger. I'm talking diplomatic. Let's try diplomatic means at first, okay, and bring some aid to them. But no, none of that's happening, is it? No, they're telling them, no, the answer is to migrate to America, where Trump's got he knows, everybody knows, he's hard-nosed about immigration. He wants to do it on the up and up, and he just wants the cream of the crop and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so you understand it's inevitable. We're talking about a troublemaker here. George Soros is a big, fat, billionaire troublemaker. Okay, I'm sorry, but that's my opinion of the guy. And his fruits are rotten and they stink to high heaven. So that's my opinion. Okay, I'm an American and I have not only a right, but I've got an obligation, a duty to tell you what I think, get it off my chest. That's how Americans are. We're a bit cocky on all sides of the aisle, and that's good. That's a good thing. Good American value, being a little cocky. I'm a little cocky, but I don't like the man, and I wish he would cease and desist and stop acting like the devil, because that's what he's. Troublemakers are the devil. I mean, that's it. He's a big fat troublemaker. That's what's going on here. And he's killing people. He's hurting people. And he likes it. And they would love a civil war in America. And let's not give them what they want. Let's not give George Soros what he wants. Maybe I'll title the video that, No civil war in America. Don't give George Soros what he wants. Okay? So do me a favor, all you on the left and right and all the conservatives and liberals and all the socialists and capitalists and Democrats and Republicans, please do me a solid. Let's just not give him what he wants. He's a vicious, mad dog, enemy of humanity, in my opinion. Okay, I'm just saying. That's my opinion. But his fruits, I'm going to expose his fruits, and they stink. Bad, bad. And we want nothing to do with the fruits of what George Soros wants to feed not only American people, but all people around the world. The guy's a real a-hole. Yeah, it's important whenever you're fighting these monsters that you do remember what Friedrich Nietzsche taught. He said that when fighting these monsters, be careful not to stare into the abyss too long, lest you become the abyss, like the monsters that you're trying to fight. So I have to remind myself of that. That's what I meant. It's a danger of letting my dog off the leash too much. Is that I'm falling into that same kind of character, and I don't want to be that character. I'm a nice guy, and I'm going to keep being a nice guy, and I'm gonna tell what I believe to be the truth as calmly and peacefully and palatably and effectively as I possibly can, cogently, coherently, simply, so a child can understand, and irrefutably too, because when I really feel like I've got something to offer you, okay, then I'm going to do my very best at being persuasive that you accept it as truth, and that's reliable because it comes to me from the mind of God. I mean, God doesn't convolute stuff and make it difficult to understand. It's right there. It's simple. We have equal access to the spirit of truth. When you get on your knees and pray, say, God, teach me the right opinion about this or that controversial issue. He'll give it to you every time, man. The right attitude to have about your nemesis, your enemy, your foe, your adversary, whoever it may be. Have the right, and see how the devil is in the details every single time. These small court cases I watch all the time, the money, and the people get evil over a little bit of money. I mean, it's so bizarre to me. Like I said, I feel like I came to the wrong planet. How could this be? But this is what you get from decades of seeking the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, being on the side of humanity at large, non-exclusively, this is what you get. You get like, wow, you step back from it's to think outside the box, look outside the box through God's eyes, and holy cow, how in the hell did we get in this mess? How pathetic, what piss ants we have become as a race. God help us, God Almighty, we've squandered the wealth that you gave us through the grace of Jesus Christ, and now we've got nothing but wrath to look forward to. I mean, I'm scared for humanity. I don't know what it's going to take, what kind of a freaking metaphorical sledgehammer that God's going to finally use on us. But it's foreboding, man. I mean, the levee's got to break. The dam's got to break. It's got to hit the fan, man. The day of reckoning is coming, just like sands in an hourglass. Eventually they run out, and that's the point in history we're at. We're at the precipice, the jump-off point, where we've got to decide. We're at the tip top of the ship that's sinking, and only God can help you now. Now you're in the most trouble. You that are survived to this point, and you're at the top or uppermost part of the ship that's going to sink and draw you down into this rabbit hole to hell, the watery grave of Dante's Inferno, 9 circles of hell. I mean, get the hell out of there, man. Jump now. Let the damn ship sink by itself, man. Don't let it take anybody with it. George Soros, I don't know if you're too far gone, if your sins are unpardonable. That's between you and God, man. That's you and God's business. My business is to teach you, hey, jump out of the fire, George. Jump out of the fire, man. Jump ship. Stop being evil. Come out of the darkness and into the light, man. Start using your money to heal, not to divide, but to bring together, to unify humanity. But I know a lot of you people are haters. That Georgia Guidestones, you think humans have bred like mice and we need to be gotten rid of. I understand. That's where so many people are very overt, in your face, unabashed about admitting that. That yes, they firmly believe the Earth's overpopulated. That of course they're not going to kill themselves. They don't, set an example. Their lives are too valuable. They're the self-appointed gods of this world, and they think it's their duty, their job to cull the population and save the planet. So you understand, they're utterly ungodly men that have usurped authority on Earth. That's the state of affairs. And no doubt about it, only God can help us. Only God can help us now. That's it, man. I don't know what else to tell anyone. But we're in a lot of trouble, and we can't let ourselves become like them. Yeah, I'm a pretty sensitive guy, and I was always kind of a sensitive kid. Very conscientious. I really cared, And ever since as young as I was, I really had a sense of caring about things like reputation, what people think about me, and just being a nice human being from a very young age. And I don't want to lose that. I don't want to become a monster. I don't want anybody threatened by me. I'm not a threat. That's my decision. That's your decision, your prerogative. We all have that exclusive privilege to decide to be no man's foe, no man's enemy, no man's nemesis, a threat to no man. That's my prerogative. And if people want to perceive I am, there's nothing I can do. That's their own prerogative. That's their choice to believe I'm a threat, to believe I'm their enemy, but I'm not. I'm on everybody's side. I'm for universal prosperity. How could anybody be against me? Anybody. See, nobody could in their right mind, but evil men are not in their right mind, and that's who's manipulating us and getting us to think the way they do. These mini elitists, you understand where they're born from, where the genesis takes place. It's from the grand puppeteers. They're being ready. Well, I look up to those people. They're highly educated, really smart people, super successful, uber successful, you might say. And they're the rulers and the authorities of the world that make the laws, and they're able to exempt themselves. Yeah, I want to be like them. I want to be on their side. Of course, I want to be a sycophant, bootlicking brown noser to them. Of course I do. Don't be stupid. You're the stupid one from jumping ship, man, jumping on your plank and trying to avoid the top part of the ship's where to be. That's logical, dumbass. This is where to be. But it's going down. Thank God eventually we're the rubber is finally hitting the road. Thank God. I'm living to see that point in history. It will get better. The worm's going to turn, the ship's going to turn, and it's going to be at the hand of God. It's not going to be political. It's not going to be because the Democrats won the House or, the Republicans won the Senate. It's not going to be any of that crap. If God allows Trump to do something tangible that's really going to benefit America and humanity at large, then it's going to be with God's help. It's going to have to happen at the right time in history when God has disempowered the evildoers to that point where they're not going to be allowed to pull off another JFK, where, we're already cooked. They're not going to be able to stick us back in the pot, plunk us back in again, because they know once we get on a new course and people get any appreciable amount of time, they get that taste, man. They're not going to ever let go. Enough of an appreciable amount of time where things start looking up and we're on a different trajectory. You start seeing destitution, desperate poverty drying up. You start seeing crime going down. You start seeing a steady trend the other direction. That means the hand of God is involved. That's it, man. That this is what the scriptures talk about as the end of an age and the beginning of a new age. We've had these millennia of this establishment age, of the money lovers age, and it's coming to an end. So it's going to be a seamless transition, but it's going to be traumatic because a lot of people are totally unprepared for the massive sea changes that need to take place, biblical level sea changes in the hearts and minds of men. We got to rethink. We've got to retool. We got to reset our paradigm, our reality, the pattern of doing business here on earth and living together in peace and harmony, and what it's going to take to find true happiness, the freedom that we need. That's got to be universal and absolute freedom. And I think God makes it so we're always hardest on ourselves. We beat ourselves up the most because it's like it says, in our weakness, His strength is perfected. It's His way of doing things that really makes sense. The ball always winds up in our court, in other words, that we always have an opportunity to play this game a little differently as we choose, to be nicer human beings and be, as a result, more effective and make what we try to convey and teach to others more palatable so that we can move together here, okay, in concert and really pull ourselves and extricate ourselves out of this muck and mire because we're in it really deep, And we indeed can be our own worst enemy, and maybe that's not such a bad thing that God made it that way as a failsafe, as kind of a default, that we're not blaming somebody else. At the end of the day, in our right minds, we say, No, you know what? I've got to just, I can only work on myself. I can't change anybody. If I can convince somebody, that's fine, that's fair. But, you know, my problems are my problems, and I've got to deal with them. I've got to take them to God. I need God. Each of us individually, personally, need God. You know, I said I was irreligious last week, but I might have used that incorrectly. I'm not even sure I understood. This term religion doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But it's been used as a pejorative term in the past. So that you could label somebody, pigeonhole them, stereotype them as just being, oh, they're just a religionist. And it hasn't been a good thing because a lot of people just use it as a calling card, as a moniker. And you know, it's just like anybody could do it. If I wanted to besmirch the name of Jews, I just become a Jew and then I go do some heinous act, right? I mean, it